Rougarou, the Legend, Chapter 2 by Susan Muchmore. Good evening. I'm Cajun Craig, your narrator. Welcome to Radio Network's Stories from Around the Bend. This week's program is brought to you by Louisiana Hot Sauce, the only hot sauce that puts a bite in your gumbo. Tonight, we travel back to southern Louisiana, Acadiana, or Cajun country, to catch up with Mudbug Mary and her granddaughter, Red Bean. This legendary duo, crackerjack trappers of crawfish, also known as mudbugs. Life in the fertile bayous of Louisiana is rich in French and Creole language, food, legends, and music. It is also rich in nutria, an invasive raccoon-sized rodent who has been eating away the coast of Louisiana since the 1930s. The nutria, also called swamp rats, devour the roots of plants, which damages the ability for the landscape to stay in place. So settle back in your favorite chair and imagine yourself sitting on a porch of Mudbug Mary, where swamp rats roam underneath a 3-room cypress wood Cajun cabin deep in Bayou Teche. When we last saw Mudbug Mary and Red Bean, we're returning from a close encounter with the legendary swamp monster Rougarou, a werewolf-like creature who lives in the fog-covered swamps of Louisiana. Rougarou has a bad reputation, yellow teeth, long hair, and a high-pitched howl. The year is 1954. Our cast of characters include
Mudbug Mary, played by Susan, a scrappy woman in her 50s who took in her granddaughter Red Bean when she was 10 years old. She's about to turn 16.
Hi, y'all. I'm Red Bean, played by Lisa. I'm Mudbug Mary's 15-year-old granddaughter, and I ain't no slouch when it comes to catching those crawdads and crabs. Red Bean quickly adapted to the bayou living, and now is about to turn 16. She is Mudbug Mary's partner in the crawfish business.
Hi, I'm Faye Dodo, played by Rosie, a retired librarian from Baton Rouge. She often won the Cajun two-step competition around the parish. She met Mudbug Mary at the Crawfish Festival, liked her spirit, followed her home. She and Mary are best friends. Her side hustle is teaching the two steps at the country dance parties called Faye Dodos.
Maxine, played by Carol, a short order cook whose specialty is trout almond bean. She lives underwater and runs a trout line across Bayou Teche. Her newly found specialty is Nutri-Gumbo. Those swamp rats have overrun the wetlands, so it's her personal goal to cook as many as she can. She works at Cootsy's Diner and Dance Hall. She plays a fiddle with the Zydeco Band, the Cajun Skillet Lickers.
Cheesehead the Cajun, played by Craig. Since little, Cheesehead is always in trouble. He never went to school and learned the hard knocks of life from the dark side of the bayous. His best friend is Thibodeau Tom.
Thibodeau Tom, played by Thomas. He's from the wrong side of town that bears his namesake, Thibodeau. Tom is a rough-talking, fist-using petty criminal. He met Cheesehead the Cajun in the state reform school. They've been best friends ever since.
Nothing much has changed in the bayou since our last visit. The swamp around the Cajun cabin is still bathed in morning fog. It is still held up by steps buried deep in the bayou's dark green mud. Herons and other bayou birds search for fish which keep them alive. As the scene begins, we find Mary and Red Bean standing on the porch. During the high tide, water from the bayou licks the porch while Spanish moss hangs down from the cypress trees. A canoe-sized pirogue and a new larger John boat with shiny sides, flat bottom, and small outbow motor are tied to the porch railings. Crab tracks are stacked just about everywhere there is space.
Shay, you got any birthday wishes? Sweet 16 only comes around once. Maxine and I were thinking about having a Fay-Do-Do for you at Cootsy's. Would you like that? You can invite Pootie and Lucy and all your friends. And the skillet lickers play, and there'll be lots of good food and presents, and everyone will pass a good time.
I don't know. I mean, I'd like a party, but what I'd really like is a special present.
Well, what do you want?
Lucy and I went over to the mercantile, and I saw a dress that made my eyes pop out. It was seafoam green with shiny buttons, and get this, it had a fur collar and cuffs around the sleeves.
Oh, sugar, I wish I had the money. Let me think on it a while. Hey, you hear that? I think I hear Fate sputtering John boat coming round that bend.
Y'all. Hey y'all, I'm about run up the bayou and get Maxine. There's a swamp rat roundup today, and they're paying $5 a tail if you bring them in dead or alive. I brought my shotgun. When they're dead, they're much easier to transport. Want to come along? It's going to be a good time.
Well, sure. I got a lot of crawfish bags brought back. We can stash them in there and pile them up in the back of the boat, and I'll get my shotgun. Rebby, you stay here and bake the crab pots, and maybe you'll get that dress yet.
I'll go get them bags, but you be careful, my mare. You too, Miss Fay.
Ever since the Nutria came to the bayou from South America, they spent their hungry little lives eating away through the wetlands. They love to chomp on the roots and grass, especially the rice and sugarcane. After they load up their bellies, they burn themselves in the mud and start digging tunnels to the levees. They pretty much are destroying the roadways and drainage canals too. So some of them pawpaws and marmos of acoustics came up with the idea of rounding them up and selling them to the Marsh Dog Factory, who wanted to make them into dog treats. They're loaded with nutrients and dogs love them. So Mary, Maxine, Faye spent a long and productive day shooting swamp rats. With 3 shotgun-toting mamas, how could anything possibly go wrong?
Hey, we got Maxine.
Don't like looking at them with them yellow teeth and mashed in face. They always look bigger to me every time I see one, especially when they're lying flat on the highway, run over by some pick-em-up truck. All right, let me count them. We got 20 bags, each holding 5 or 6 dead rats. So I say that's 100.
Woo-wee, that's $500.
Come on, girls. Come on. Start the engines and let's head north. The moon is starting to come up.
Yes, ma'am. I don't want to be out there on that bayou at night on account of the Rougarou might give me. He loves the moon to howl at, most likely. Most likely it'll be gators.
Let's go.
The dark muddy water splashes against her hull as it plows the inky marsh.
Hey, cut the motor. I see opportunity ahead.
Yeah, you're right. Looks like the river rat hunters are heading back to Marsh Dogs with buku bags of swamp rat carcasses.
Well, there's women, and they got a boatload of them. Must be about 75 bags. Oh, let's go. This will be a cakewalk.
Don't go too fast. We don't want to lose any. Those swamp rats are heading for the dogs.
Okay, I'll be careful. We got us some valuable passengers.
Who are you? Put down those guns, you fools.
We ain't no city girls. You want trouble, y'all found it.
Shut up and turn around. Thibodeau, grab that line and tie them together. They'll push him overboard. I just saw a couple of gators heading this way, and they was looking real hungry.
Hey, stop. Wait.
No.
From a distance, a large creature plods through the swamp heading toward the boats. It looks like. It is the Rougarou, the swamp's own werewolf with large yellow teeth, long gnarly fingers with nails like spikes. He has green moss hanging from his pointed head. He is the subject of many occasional legends and tales. Children shiver in their sleep while having nightmares about the ugly creature catching them. Mary, Fay, and Maxine steady themselves before Thibodeau can finish tying them up. They get loose, and Maxine shoves him in the water while Mary and Fay Dodo go after Cheesehead.
Cheesehead, help me, he's got me. There's a Rougarou. Shoot him, shoot him, aim for the head.
I can't. Hey, he's after me now. Let me go, you ugly thing. You ain't real. The Rougarou picks up both men, dingles them over the dark, murky swamp before he drops them. A couple of gators thrash around, and the men disappear under the water. The thrashing stops.
Don't worry, ma'am. They won't bother you again. Let me lead you to the marsh dog's dock. Looks like you got some business to do.
Oh, I can't believe it. You saved us. You ain't bad.
Oh, you're our hero, and y'all can talk. You're real.
And I'll never let anyone say another bad word about you.
No, don't do that. I have a reputation to uphold. And what fun would it be for children to grow up thinking all those stories you told them were just made up so they would behave? Now, you have a good day and nice catch, ladies.
So the legend of the Rougarou was still safe. Maxine, Fay Dodo, and Mary kept it secret, and Red Bean got her birthday dress, complete with a nutria, fur collar, and cuffs. Maxine made nutria gumbo for Red Bean's birthday, and Fay Dodo finally taught Mary a proper two-step. The three friends ended the party by standing on the pier of Cooties. As the moon shone over the bayou, they could hear the faint howl of the newfound hero.
The Welcome Wagon by Catherine Close. Cast:
Gladys Murdoch, played by Lynne, a busybody, a gossip, and middle-aged.
Marion Snell, a new neighbor, 30s. Confidence, played by Laura.
Matt Snell, Mary's husband, 30s, hardworking, played by Craig.
Narrator, played by yours truly, Carol. Music by Craig Lime Keeler. Sound by Lynne Nash. Welcome to Life in the Suburbs. This week we find Gladys, the self-appointed neighbor. Welcome Wagon just has appeared on Marion Snell's front porch and is artfully arranging her basket of goodies.
Sorry, doorbells don't always work. I'm Gladys Murdoch, the neighborhood welcome wagon.
Wow, how nice. I am Mrs. Marion Snell. Won't you come in? You like some coffee?
Yes, thank you. I just stopped by to welcome you to the neighborhood. Have you met any of your neighbors?
Just our next door neighbor, Mrs. Smith. She seems very nice.
You better keep a tight rein on your man when she's around.
What do you mean?
The menfolk around here think she's awfully nice too, especially that Bob Henshaw. He lives right on the other side of her place. He's been trimming her hedges for years, if you get my drift. Linda's a divorcee. Apparently, one man was not enough to satisfy her, but I didn't come here to gossip. Let's change the subject. Do you and your husband have any children?
No, my husband and I tried for years without success. Now he buries himself in his work, and I work as an interior decorator.
Oh, that's too bad. Children are such a blessing. But you do have a lovely home. I love what you've done with the place. It's the same model as the Spratt's house down the street, but yours is much nicer. No one would ever want to buy that Spratt home.
Why not? I should think that it would be a very popular layout.
People may love the layout, but they get cold feet when they hear about the death in the basement.
The death in the basement?
Yes, they say Mr. Spratt passed away in the basement of natural causes, but I think Mrs. Spratt caught him mowing Mrs. Smith's lawn, if you catch my feeling. But enough chatter about that. Let's change the subject. If you look in my basket here, you'll find some peach jam. I made it myself from scratch.
Oh, how very kind. I'm sure we'll enjoy it.
The peaches came from the tree that hangs over the fence from the Wilson's yard, right onto public property, which is why I always help myself. You can't miss the Wilson's property. It's like an overgrown jungle. What a disaster. It's an embarrassment, if you ask me. Brings down the property value of the whole neighborhood. Their peaches sure do make good jam, though.
Well, as I said, I'm sure we'll enjoy it. My husband loves peach jam.
Just out of curiosity, what does your husband do for a living?
He's a pathologist. As a matter of fact, he may be working on the death of Mr. Spratt this very minute.
Really? You don't say, oh, look at the time. I need to get going. I'll just take my things and go.
Gladys, don't you want to leave your basket of peach jam?
I just noticed this jar isn't properly sealed. This batch may be spoiled. Gotta go. Bye bye.
As Gladys makes a hasty exit, Mr. Snell emerges from his home office.
I'm sorry, dear. I didn't realize we had company. I was just going over the lab work of the Spratt case. Turns out it wasn't a heart attack. He was poisoned. Who was that at the door?
That was Gladys Murdoch welcoming us to the neighborhood. She left in a terrible hurry. So much so, she took the peach jam that she brought over for us.
Oh, what a shame. I love peach jam. Oh, and you should have asked her for a recommendation for someone to do our yard work. I'm so busy, I won't have time.
Don't worry, dear. She gave me an excellent recommendation for someone who has a reputation for trimming bushes. I'll be sure to look him up while you're at work.
And thus concludes this week's episode of Life in the Suburbs. Please join us next week for another episode. The Welcome Wagon by Catherine Close. Cast:
Gladys Murdoch, a busybody and a gossip, middle-aged, played by Lynne.
Again, let's do it again. We're close enough to the beginning. Okay.
The Welcome Wagon by Catherine Close. Cast:
Gladys Murdoch, played by Lynne, a busybody and a gossip, middle-aged.
Marion Snell, a new neighbor, 30s, confident, played by Laura.
Matt Snell, played by Craig. Marion's husband, 30s, hardworking.
Narrator, played by Carol. Music by Craig Lime Keeler. Sound by Lynne Nash. Welcome to Life in the Suburbs. This week we find Gladys, the self-appointed neighborhood welcome wagon, has just appeared on Marion Snell's front porch and is artfully arranging her basket of goodies.
Sorry, doorbells don't always work. I'm Gladys Murdoch, the neighborhood welcome wagon.
Wow, how nice. I am Mrs. Marion Snell. Won't you come in? Would you like some coffee?
Yes, thank you. I just stopped by to welcome you to the neighborhood. Have you met any of your neighbors?
Just our next door neighbor, Mrs. Smith. She seems very nice.
You better keep a tight rein on her, on your man when she's around, if you know what I mean.
Whatever do you mean?
The menfolk around here think she's awfully nice too, especially that Bob Henshaw. He lives right on the other side of her place. He's been trimming her hedges for years, if you get my drift. Linda's a divorcee. Apparently one man was not enough to satisfy her. But I didn't come by to gossip. Let's change the subject. Do you and your husband have any children?
No, my husband and I tried for years without any success. Now he buries himself in his work, and I work as an interior decorator.
Oh, that's too bad. Children are such a blessing. You do have a lovely home. I love what you've done with the place. It's the same model as this Pratt's house down the street, but yours is ever so much nicer. No one will ever want to buy that Spratt house.
Why not? I should think that it would be a very popular layout.
People may love the layout, but they get cold feet when they hear about the death in the basement.
Death in the basement.
Yes, they say Mr. Spratt passed away in the basement of natural causes. But I think that Mrs. Spratt caught him mowing Mrs. Smith's lawn, if you catch my meaning. But enough chatter about that. Let's change the subject. If you look in that basket, you'll find some peach jam. I made it myself from scratch.
Oh, how very kind. I'm sure we'll enjoy it.
The peaches came from the tree that hangs over the fence from the Wilson's yard right onto public property, which is why I always help myself. You can't miss the Wilson's property. It's like an overgrown jungle. What a disaster. It's an embarrassment, if you ask me. Brings down the property value of the whole neighborhood. Those peaches sure do make good jam, though.
Well, as I said, I'm sure we'll enjoy it. My husband loves peach jam.
Just out of curiosity, what does your husband do for a living?
He's a pathologist. As a matter of fact, he may be working on the death of Mr. Spratt this very minute.
Really? You don't say. Oh, look at the time. I need to get going. I'll just take my things and go.
Gladys, don't you want to leave your basket of peach jam?
I just noticed this jar isn't properly sealed. This batch may be spoiled. Gotta run. Bye.
As Gladys makes a hasty exit, Mr. Snell emerges from his home office.
I'm so sorry, dear. I didn't realize we had company. I was just going over the lab work in the Spratt case. Turns out it wasn't a heart attack. He was poisoned. By the way, who's that at the door?
That was Gladys Murdoch welcoming us to the neighborhood. She left in a terrible hurry. So much so. She took the peach jam she brought over for us.
Oh, what a shame. I love peach jam. You should have asked her for a recommendation for someone to do our yard work. I'm so busy, I won't have time.
Don't worry, dear. She gave me an excellent recommendation for someone who has a reputation for trimming bushes. I'll be sure to look him up while you're at work.
And thus concludes this week's episode of Life in the Suburbs. Please join us next week for another episode.
I'll have the by Lynne Nash. Lynn is also doing the sound effects for this production, and Craig is doing the music. The cast of characters in order of appearance is Lisa playing the narrator.
Mr. Handsome, handsome and knows it, arrogant, played by Craig.
Boo-hoo! Thinks it's funny, his jokes are really bad. He's also played by Craig.
Henry, rude, tries to be flirty but fails, played by Eric.
Centenarian, 100-year-old man, hard of hearing, played by Thomas.
Beauty queen, beautiful but ditzy girl, early 20s, played by Catherine.
Crispy Bacon, beauty queen's boyfriend, Shakespearean student at the local college, played by Eric.
Margaret, a food server whose name is clearly displayed on her name tag, played by Lynne.
The setting. It's a roadside diner in Iowa. At rise, Mr. Handsome walks into the diner. Margaret greets him, pencil and pad in hand.
Hey, you handsome, have a seat right here. What you want, coffee, tea, or me?
Let's see. I'll have the crepes, Suzette.
Name is Margaret. See, it says it right here on my name tag.
Well, then I'll have the crepes, Margaret.
Oh, okay, guy. Make up your mind. The crepes Suzette or the crepes regular. We don't have any crepes, Margaret.
You said your name is Margaret.
Look, it makes no difference what my name is. What you want to order?
The crepes, Suzette, is a thin pancake served with lovely Grand Marnier.
I don't care how grand your Marnier is. Just tell me, crepes regular or Marnier?
Margaret, I want Suzette with my Grand Marnier.
Do you have her phone number? I'll call her.
Never mind. Do you have any peach Melba?
Melba's the cook. Hey, Melba, slice some peaches for this bozo here.
A new customer enters, dressed as a clown, sits in the booth near Mr. Handsome.
Did I hear my name? I'll take some peaches too, Melba.
My name is Margaret, and Melba's the cook. She's slicing peaches for that bozo in the other booth.
My name's Bozo too. Bozo the Cloud. What a coincidence. Well, Maggie, tell Melba I'll have her toast and some Oreos.
Okay, Melba's toast. But Oreos, we don't have any Oreos.
Oh, come on, Maggie. Oreo gonna give me a kiss or what?
Oh, get out of here, you bozo.
You ain't me or the bozo in another booth. Okay, I'm leaving. Tell Melba to cancel the toast. I'll have some cheese to go. Everything's gonna be all right. Anyway, I'm already in a relationship.
And Margaret is my name, not Maggie, and don't let the door hit you on the way out.
A new customer sits at the booth, just vacated by Bozo.
Hey, Max, give me a menu.
Don't be rude. I have enough on my plate already, and it's not tacos. And Margaret is my name, not Meg.
Glad to meet you, Max. Margaret. I'm Henry.
Oh, Henry? This ain't no candy store. It's a diner. What you want?
Well, I'll have your fuzzy navel.
My fuzzy what? You looky here, Hank. You can't talk to me like that. How about I bust your chops?
Chop sounds good. You got pork or lamb?
We got lamb chops. Now, what do you want with that?
I'm in the mood for a drink. Bring me a little sherry.
She's not working tonight, but she's got a fella.
How about a nice Shirley Temple?
She's just a kid, you pervert. Get out of here.
Margaret's spirits appear to improve as she sits a 100-year-old man that we call the centenarian at the booth Henry just vacated.
Oh, just a minute, honey. Let me help you. How old are you anyways?
I'm 100 years old. Going 101 next week.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? God bless you, darling. Let me wipe down this booth, sweetie. That last guy was a real perv.
I'm sorry, at my age, I do have a lot of burps.
No, not burps. The last guy was a pervert.
Did you say dessert?
No, not desert. A pervert.
Are you calling me a pervert?
Look, just take the menu. I'm sure we can make something really nice for you.
Well then, this looks good. I think I'll have a quickie, my little Maggie.
My name is not Margie, not Mags, not Maggie, or even Peggy. It's Margaret. Wait, what did you say you wanted?
I really want a quickie, Margaret. You're tart.
Oh, the world is full of perverts.
No dessert, just a quickie.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
And Margaret exits crying.
What did I do? I just asked for a quickie. Here on the menu, it's just...
Now, Mr. Handsome in the first booth, still slurping his peaches, turns to the centenarian.
Excuse me, sir. You know it's pronounced quiche. And it's not a tart, it's made of cheese.
Oh, well, that's very different. Never mind.
The centenarian leaves and the beauty queen and her boyfriend enter. They sit at the booth vacated by the centenarian. Margaret returns from her break, wiping her eyes and blowing her nose.
What do you two want? And don't give me no beef.
I just won the title of Miss Cheesecake. See, it says so right here on my sash. And this is my boyfriend, Crispy Bacon, who studies Shakespeare at the local college.
Say, didn't your boyfriend come in here earlier? I thought he said his name was Henry.
Well, his name is Bacon, right, Chris? Isn't that right?
Not only won the Miss Cheesecake pageant, she also won the talent portion doing the cakewalk.
Well, that makes me a dancing queen.
Yeah. So what do you want?
Well, let's see, Chris here. He wants the chicken.
Hey, Melba, how's our chicken supply?
Big chocolate, just hold
Since they murder most foul, I doth changed my mind this. Do you have pig brains?
I don't know about pig brains, but my brain's fried.
I'm floundering.
Well, I'm a vegetarian, so I'll have the carrots and peas.
A good chef never cooks carrots and peas in the same pot.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll have the peas and carrots instead.
Well, Mags, what do you recommend we get?
I recommend you to get the heck out of here. Hear that, Bill? Stick a fork in me. I'm done.